So this is our default Dagger application. It's Dagger 7.4. We have almost nothing in it. It's totally fresh Dagger app. It's from our previous episode. We added here integration with Composer and RabbitMQ. So and today we will add support for Vue.js. It's very interesting because now you can create reactive applications on Vtiger. So let's start. So first of all, what should we do? It's install Vue application. We need to run command Vue create Vue, and of course you need to install globally Vue application, Vue app. So we'll choose Vue 3, the latest version of Vue. And after installation, we will see new folder in our Vtiger with the name of Vue. So installation almost completed. Yeah, and we'll see. We need to run two new commands. It's cd vue and npm run serve. Okay, let's check what we have here. We'll edit them to we'll add new files to Composer. Yeah, it's our Vue folder, and let's check what we have here. It's package JSON, so nothing interesting here. Yeah, but we have commands npm run serve, npm run build, npm run lint, but this command is for compilation for production. This command for development purposes. Let's add a new command, npm run dev. Yeah, we need to check permission because I do everything under root. Yeah, let's add new command, npm run dev. It's the same command, but we need to change mode to development. Okay, and now let's run this command, cd vue, and npm run dev. And after this command, you will see you have two files generated, chunk vendors and app.js. Let's check our Vtiger first, and now let's try to. So what we're going to do is just add these files to our Vtiger. It's already compiled files of Vue.js, so just add them, and I think we should be done on these purposes. Where can we add these files? How can we add them? You can just check index.html, just generate files for our demo purposes, and here we can see that we need to add a link to our header and script to our footer. Let's find in our Vtiger where can we add link. It's on Vtiger header. Yeah, and here you can see our underbody tag. You can add links, or I think you can add on the block where you can see all links. For example, right here, we add a link to script with rel preload. We attach our main application compiled JavaScript file, and compile JavaScript file from third-party vendors. Then you need to add script tag. In Vtiger we have already file with attached script resources right here, and here we can also add our vendors and app.js compiled files like this. Then if you open our main Vue file, right here, this is our main file which we attach to our Vue application, and main.js file, this is a file which create Vue application and mount whole application to our div tag with ID app. So let's find where do we have this div ID tag with div ID app. Actually we don't have it, we have div ID with page, so let's change it to page. And we need to compile again our Vue application, and it's done. Now we can check how everything works. Yeah, our Vue application works, but we see something strange. Whole our page was replaced by Vue application, so we can see that Vue application works. It works good, but all our content was replaced. We can fix it very easily. We just need to create our Vue configuration file, and we just need to tell Vue.js not replace all our content. Let's create Vue config.js file, configuration of our Vue application. And just let's put our configuration, configure Webpack, where we change alias of our Vue application to ASM bundle. And let's recompile our files and just check how everything works. And it's not works because we just need to change our configuration generation of our Vue application. Let's change something. Let's declare constant of our application and declare with empty tag. And just mount of our application like this. Let's generate it, and let's check right now. We have error. We defined but never used of our application. It's error from our linter. Let's build again. Build successful, and let's try to refresh. Now everything is working. Everything is okay. Let's try to implement something in our Vtiger and check how can we use our Vue application. Let's generate something easy and something interesting at the same time. We'll try to implement a new widget with list of leads. For example, we want to see widget where we can see all our leads with name, for example, first name and last name, created time, and for example for example, industry. Let's implement just a simple table with filters in it, and yeah, let's do something easy for demo purposes. And you can see how can we implement Vue application to our Tiger instance. So for generating our widget, we need to first of all add link, right? Let's check how can we add widgets. First of all, we need to create controller, then we need to create TPL file, and we need to register our controller in links, right? Let's check what we have in leads folder. Yeah, we have a folder with dashboards, it's cool, then we can copy, for example, something from here, just sample code and create widget. For starting points, just let's try to create empty widget with nothing on it. Let's create new class and name it leads list dashboard, and file name will be leads list, and it should extend Vtiger index.ix view. Let's create it, and just let's copy paste everything from our list by industry and remove unnecessary files. Just till we just copy paste. So what you have here, we need to generate process function. We need to generate it in any controller. It's just nothing in it, nothing interesting. Then we need to pass all necessary parameters. For example, model name, widget instance, data, current user to our view, and I think that's all. Let's just also pass our accessible users and remove all unnecessary entries. Yeah, we just need to pass TPL file. Yeah, we also need to generate our TPL file. We remove this checking of availability of content from request. Yeah, we just pass empty view. Let's create this file, let's list. Let's check what we have here. We need to go to our layouts, with 7 modules, leads, dashboards. We also have dashboards, we have lists by industry. Yeah, we just can copy this file and remove everything from here, because all content will generate in our Vue.js application, but not in Smarty. We will not use Smarty, so that's why we just create file leads list.tpl and put empty content here. Yeah, we just include widget header. It's like if you check, for example, any widget, example history, this one is header. We need to attach it, and this one is our content. It's empty content here, and this one is our footer. This one. Just to remove this widget for now. For beginning, let's just try to see if everything is okay. I am here. And now we need to attach this widget to our application, to our dashboard, right here. Now we don't see this widget. It's okay because we need to attach it to our Dagger links. Let's add it. We will use again our hooks for leads model. So let's go to our leads model, and here you see lead handler function. And let's add to our event types disabled and enabled, attaching our new link. So how can we do it? In the beginning, we just need to instantiate our model, our Dagger model. We need to attach it to our. We need to attach a link to our home model. So let's call it home, and just add to our enabled event link with dashboard widget, leads list, our link. Yeah, we call model leads, call view show widget. We just take this link from, for example, any other widgets. Here it's the same link. We don't need seconds. Let's put 15, for example. And also need to delete link if our leads model is disabled. So the same thing. Now we can enable and disable our model. Let's go to settings, models, and you just disable and enable it. And let's go to our home page. And here you can see leads. We have leads list. Let's try to add. Yeah, it's working. I'm here, so everything is okay. Now let's try to add something to add not Smarty file, but let's try to add Vue.js component. How can we do it? So for these purposes, let's try to create first of all our component, right? Let's go to src folder, components, and let's add a new component. View component. We'll call it leads widget. And name leads widget. Let's try to add something. I am from Vue. Then we need to add this component to our main.js file. We need to import this component, and we need to register this component in our application. Let's generate our application, and let's check. Now here we should see not I'm here, but I'm from Vue.js, and we don't see it, of course, and now I explain you why. If you check our network tab, you will see something interesting. Here, not here, but yeah, here we upload our view from Ajax through JavaScript, and that's why you can't see. Actually, we did not touch our component to our dashboard widget content. Let's try to add it. So we create our component, but we didn't attach it to our TPL file. Let's add it. Leads list, and we need to add leads widget. Now when we added this widget, our Vue.js will see this tag, and it will replace all this content with I'm from Vue. h1 tag. Let's update it. Yeah, now you can see we got this widget tag, but it's not replaced in Vue because we got it from Ajax through JavaScript. It's not converted in HTML. So we cannot use this tag here. We need to add somewhere in the code. And we can find workaround. We can open file dashboard tab content right here, and here you can see generated files. And if you look closely, our widgets generated here in dashboard tab container, and then we got widgets. We pass them in for each loop. We generate a line tag, and somewhere here we can try to check if our widget is leads list, and we can replace this content with our HTML attribute with Vue component. Let's try, for example, right here and see what we got. So let's put if statements. If in for each loop we got our item widget, so let's check if widget get name equal leads list. And if it's okay, then we need to add our leads widget tag. Let's check what we got right now. Yeah, we got generated Vue component. I'm from Vue. Now let's think what we need for our widget. We want to generate table, for example, with just 3 columns. It will be lead name, created time, and industry. Just simple table with nothing in it. And let's add some filters for it. Filter by industries and filter by users. For these purposes, we need somehow to get data from Vtiger. And you see we need some endpoints. First endpoint, we need to download list of array of leads via API. Then we need to upload list of industries and list of users. So we need 3 API endpoints for our Vue application to download this data and display it in widget. Let's start from API and from creating these endpoints. Let's start from easiest one for our list of industries. This one, it's the easiest one, and I prefer to create universal API endpoint. I prefer doing following way. Let's create in the Dagger folder, in our actions folder, file with the name, for example, drop down Ajax. Let's call it Vtiger. Drop down. It will be not file, it will be class. Vtiger, drop down, Ajax, action. and it will extend with Vtiger basic Ajax section. File will name dropdown Ajax. Yeah, and create our Ajax endpoint. We need to create checking permissions, but I don't think we need to check permissions of users because it's not secure endpoint. We'll just get a list of our dropdown list. Then we need to generate process function, and I prefer doing the following way. I prefer to check for mode key, and we will later you will see why should we do it, and let's create a main function, for example get list. And this function is actually very easy. We got our pick list values. We got from request our field name, and we generate array of all values. We generate first value, select option with code 0. Then we go for each from our pick list values and create our array for displaying in pick list values. Label will be our main label translated from Vtiger, and code it will be just pure value. Then we create Tiger response and emit our result. Let's create constructor and register our mode. Now I'll show you what do I mean by mode and why we created this type of universal drop-down Ajax file. Let's go by our address. We'll pick up module Vtiger. We'll choose action drop-down Ajax. We'll pass mode get list, and we pass field name industry. Let's check what we got as a result. Yeah, we got a result, list of all our pick lists. Let's check something else. For example, another field. For example, with source. Let's check this field name. It's field name with source. Let's replace field industry with source. And we got a list of our leads sources. So we created a universal endpoint for getting a list of any pick list value in standardized format for Vue.js. And any library, for example, Vue select, accept this type of array and display in its own select view with this type of data. With this type of data format. Now we created our list view, and here you see we expose method get list. Then later we can add more methods for this drop down, for example, for drop down with color list and so on. But we just use regular method get pick list values. We get all values from our field. We create empty option value for our drop down, and we just regenerate our data with format for Vue.js. Now let's create another endpoint for getting list of users. It will be a little bit difficult one, because we need to create not only list of users, but we should attach also a list of groups. But let's do it together. I don't think we need to create a new action, new Tiger action. I think we need to use existing action. If you go to users actions, you see we have already list Ajax file, and we have already exposed method function by default. So I think we can use this file, and let's create our new function. For example, it will call users list. We will accept Vtiger request, and let's import global DB and import our user. Now let's get model name. It's this 3 lines is almost default in any request endpoint. Now let's first of all we need to get a list of users, right? How can we get it? Easiest way, it's from users record model get all. As a result, we get users record model array of users record models. Now let's create empty array, and then we will fill this empty array with a list of users and list of groups. Yeah, and let's get also list of groups. How can we do it? The same thing. We can get it from settings, groups record model, get all, and here we'll get list of settings groups record model. So it will be array. Now let's create default array. We'll call it data, and it will be array with array of data. But of course, we will need to fill this array with default data, the same as in previous way. What our default data will be? I think by default we should display all leads. So let's create first value, for example, label all. I think you should pass in better state function, but let's leave it like this for demo purposes. And pass code also 0. It's the same as in previous case. Then I think we should display my own leads. So let's pass mine option value with code. What type of code should be here? I think here should be our ID of users, and what ID of our current user record model, get current user model, and get ID. Then let's fill out our array. It will be for each users as user. And yeah, it's very simple data, and we just need to pass label, user get name, and we need to pass code, user get ID. And then we need to touch our groups. For each group says group, and also add some groups. Group get name, or maybe get group name, like this. It's the same thing. And group by ID, but as a result, we for demo purposes we got an array with keys as IDs. So fastest way is to get an ID as it's from our key of our array. And then let's generate our JSON response with this block of code. We create new Vtiger response, we set emit type emit JSON and pass data result and emit response data. And you see we don't need almost this type of data. Let's leave it like this and let's test it. But before testing, don't forget to add expose method users list, and let's try to test. We pass model users, action list Ajax, mode users list. Yeah, we got the result of our list of users. Mine it's 1, administrator 1, team selling, marketing group, support group. Everything is okay. Of course, we can add condition if user ID is the same as here in list, but we'll leave it like this for demo purposes. Now we need to create main thing, list of our lists, main controller. So let's go. For this purposes, let's create file action Ajax. We'll call it leads action Ajax action. Name of file will be action Ajax, and it will extends Vtiger action controller. Let's add it and use the same thing. Check permissions. Let's disable it for now. And main file will be a process. Let's copy paste from our previous file. Working with modes, and let's create construct method and expose our method to get leads list, and let's create our file. Get leads list, Vtiger request, and the same thing. Let's accept our params and libraries. Here we'll import EDB, current user, get module name, and here we'll accept industries and users from user. Let's accept this data from request, and let's create SQL query. How can we write this SQL query? I think we can just copy paste it from our include utils, list utils, and here we have already list of available SQL queries. We can just generate a list query, but we cannot do it because here in leads you can see we did not pass industry name. That's why we need to rewrite it. So that's why I just copy this SQL query and paste it here like this. We create params, we create query. This copy paste SQL query, but we added industry and created time. This is copy paste, and also we added this where statements. If we have assigned user variable from request, then we add to the query this condition, same entity, some owner ID, question mark, and also with industries. So just add it to filters. And let's execute this query and fill our array data. We executed it, and if condition was okay, we just fill out our data array with data from our request. And here, of course, you can just pass not all data, but for example 3 fields, but for now we will pass all of them. And the same thing, pass response data. And yeah, I think we can test it right now. Let's open a browser and enter our path, leads, action Ajax, mode get leads list. And yeah, we got result of our data. Everything should work. So now let's go to our Vue.js and let's start our front-end task. We go to our leads widget, start from our... So if we got our request, we need to notify users that we have a loading. So we need to install two dependencies. We need to install Axios and we need to install loading library. So let's do it right now and install our additional libraries. npm install Axios. Then we need to install additional library for supporting Axios for Vue, and we need to install our Vue library. So it will be Vue Axios, and for displaying notification, Vue loading overlay. And then we need to import these libraries in our main.js file. We will import only Axios and we need to use it in our application. And now everything should be done, and go to leads widget and import to our script all libraries. We import the CSS support for loading indicator, we import the loading component, and we import Axios, and for Vue.js 3 we imported unmounted hook and references. Now let's register our component loading, and let's create stub method. So what type of data should we have here? So we should create some following data. So first of all, we need to create is loading indicator to show user that we loading data, and by default it will be false. Then we need to create a list of our leads. It's this rows of table. Then we need to create a list of users. It's this one, this drop down. We need a list of industries, this one. Then we need to store somewhere what type of user did we choose. So we store in choose user, by default it will be 0. It means all users. And choose industries, by default not choose nothing, 0. Then we need to create our methods for getting users and getting industries. So let's create them. So this one is just regular Axios call. We didn't use a catch, but in production I think you should use this, of course. And display any errors which has happened with users with this request. So we create a params array, as I showed you before in this testing screen. We will pass model users, list Ajax action, and mode users list, and pass these parameters to our access. Then we get response, and as a result, we got response data result, and we pass this data into our users array. Then we get same thing industries here, and we use the same thing actually, the same policy, and fill out our industries array. Then let's create the same thing with getting leads. We're getting leads. When we're getting leads, we showing user that our loading is in progress. So we switch loading to true. Fill out the params, but also we got choose industries and choose user. What type of user and what type of industry do we choose? So we pass this data, this and this, to our request. And let's generate Axios response or Axios request, and when this Axios request will be finished, we switch our loading indicator to false. Now let's call this function, and we will use on-mounted hook, and when our application is mounted, we will call get leads, get users, and get industries. And at the end, let's return everything what we need to our template. We will return leads, choose user, we'll use choose model in our template, choose industries, users, list of industries, get leads, mounted hook, because we need to call this function every time when we change our filter, and its loading indicator. And at the beginning, let's add our div to our whole template, and let's add loading indicator. It will be active when it's loading true, and it will be not full page, and let's use load indicator as bars. And let's add our forms for the beginning. It's just regular forms with nothing in it actually. It's copy paste from Bootstrap, but here you can see we use select, just regular select. But later, of course, you can use view select or something like this, like that. For example, view select component, which is much more beautiful. But for them purposes, we use just regular select from HTML. We pass this select to our Vue model, and we attach this value to our choose industries. And on every change, we run the function get leads, and we pass our options from industries array. As value, we use code, and for example, you can see it here, not here, but here. We generate array with label and code. Label is our value, and code is our label is our label, code is our value in options here. And the same thing with our users. Let's see what's happening here right now. I run the installation process, I don't know why. Let's wait a little bit, and npm run dev. And let's see what we got right now. Here, let's check in our Vue Chrome tools. Yeah, we received industries here. This array of industries. We got code and label of every industry. So industry array, it's not empty. It's okay. It's good. We got list of leads. Okay, it's also not empty. It's all data in it. And list of users. Code and label. So everything is okay. Now let's check if it's okay with. Yeah, let's check, for example, our loading indicator. It's working. Let's put it false. Let's test choose industries. Let's check it. Yeah, banking. It's working. And here, let's check mine. It's working too. Okay, everything is working. Let's create our table for now. It will be default table. It also will be copy paste from somewhere, from Bootstrap website. Yeah, it's regular table. We generating rows and headers for table, and if leads is not empty, we're generating main rows of table. Here we use and if it's empty, we just display a message not no leads found. And let's try to see what we got, and I'll explain you everything this means. Let's build our application. Yeah, this is our first column table. Here we use dynamic property href. We're generating link, and at the end add lead CRM ID. And here we use v4. We pass leads of we pass all leads, getting every lead. Pass as a key value our CRM ID. And here we're generating name, concatenating first name and last name. Then we getting create time of leads and getting industry. So very simple table. Let's check how it's working. Yeah, it's working. Let's get apparel, banking, biotechnology, chemicals, nothing in it, marketing group, mine, all. Yeah, it's working. So now you can see Vue.js is working here. Everything is okay, and all website also is working. So I think now you know how to use Vue.js in your Dagger application. You can create widgets. You can create something special, something unusual, something dynamic, and everything. It's everything on Vue.js. So use it, and don't forget coding is fun.